Utilizing the power of a mastermind is vital to get your team to raise their mindset so they can improve their skill set and they can achieve better outcomes. The whole reason why we get our team together every 17 weeks in March, in July, in November, is to make sure that we are helping them to behave and act differently. As a solo advisor, it can be really lonely when you're working from home. If you're self-employed, being in your own comfort zone, in your own environment, whilst you go out and perhaps network with other business owners, you're looking to build connections, you're looking to build relationships, but nothing beats sitting down with a group of like-minded individuals and peers and coming with your problems and leaving with a solution. Over the last 2 days, I've been taking my team through 5 key areas of business growth to ensure that in the next 17 weeks, and by the time we meet again in July, they have moved the needle. They've elevated their leads, their appointments, their sales. And if you're somebody who's working on your own, you're really going to want to get around a group of people to help you grow. And I urge you to focus on these 5 critical areas during your mastermind. If you've never been part of a mastermind, the idea is not only coming with a problem and leaving with a solution, but it's about creating a hive mind, strength in numbers. When you have a problem and you get other people's input, it gets solved much quicker. If you've got people who are further ahead than you and also people further behind than you in the journey, when you get insights from other people, that's going to help you to avoid problems, challenges, and mistakes that you may have made without that input. When you share information with people who are further behind, it helps you to reinforce your knowledge and your understanding to take everything to the next level. When you learn, you should teach. And a mastermind is a fantastic place to do that, because in the teaching of others, that person's going to ask you questions that you might not have thought of. That's going to help you to process that information differently. So I run masterminds in systemised and scale coaching, and I equally do very similar with my advisors, where obviously I help them as a business partner to grow their business. The 5 critical areas that you need to focus on in the course of your mastermind is, of course, the number 1 priority in business: lead generation and marketing. It is constantly changing. Algorithms are always adjusting. What is working on a specific channel, whether it's video, written, audio, whether it's carousels or images, what's engaging your audience, what has the potential to go viral. You unfortunately need to become a personal brand, and you need to be able to grab attention. That is what's going to make people understand who you are, want to follow you, and when they follow you, you have a potential to start a discussion. I'm seeing huge results from long form content over short form content because of AI, is my belief. You want to get to know me that little bit better. If you spend more time with me, you gain that little bit of trust. When you watch short form content, it's completely out of context. So a lot of what we've spoken about over the last 2 days from a lead generation and a marketing perspective is the human touch of networking and long form content. Number 2 is sales and conversions. And the sales that I focused on with people is not selling products or selling services, it's selling the process. This is where you are potentially going wrong in your business. The goal is to have a conversation, realize that you're talking to a person, and sell the journey that they're about to go on from A to Z. Sell them the process and just gain their agreement. At the point of AIP, we're going to have a conversation about protection. When I submit your mortgage, we're going to talk about the solicitor. Once you have your property, I'm going to give you a home insurance quotation. That's a process. Yes, there's products in it, but that helps to make sure that your first conversation is pitching the process, and therefore you will convert more because they're already aware of what's going to be coming. We also spoke heavily about sales funnels. Now that could come into marketing, but sales funnels are really for those people that are following you that you want to convert into data that you own in your email database that gives you a higher chance of getting an appointment. The third thing was protection and product knowledge. You know, we went through a whole whiteboard where I walked through how I would recommend life insurance, critical illness, and income protection. We spoke about the objections that you're facing, and we almost had a bit of a workshop where we started to chuck out objections and rebuttals coming back the other way. So we could talk about a client saying, I can't afford this, or someone saying, I don't want insurance, and thinking about ways in which we could overcome those objections, because everybody needs insurance, they just don't necessarily want it. So when you sit down and you talk about the products and services that you can offer, and then you start going through the basic knowledge and understanding, you cannot sell what you do not understand and what you do not believe in. So we really got everybody aligned to singing from the same hymn sheet and working in the exact same way, and then That is what's going to create ultimate success, because a process must be systemized and then everybody must follow the process and the system to increase those product sales. The fourth thing was business operations. Once you've got a lead, you've had an appointment, you've converted the sale, where is the time management structure after the application has been submitted? Where are you wasting time? Could you improve? How can you simplify and deliver and delight your customers without having to overwhelm yourself? How can you have better communication with your clients so that they don't just think that you're not accessible or that you're accessible too much? We spoke a lot about time management and made sure that every I was dotted and every T was crossed so that they can spend more time on leads and sales and still give a fantastic service. And as part of that business operation piece, we really went deep on capacity. Everybody has a capacity. And once you know what your capacity is, that is a key insight as to when you need to recruit or when you need to start to delegate some of the admin or some of the other sales out. The final fifth piece to finish the day, which we have literally just finished, was all around the business growth and planning. Getting really specific with sales and bankings and lead generation and activities. I always get my clients and my advisors to focus on input because that will guarantee output. And we got really super specific in relation to what they are going to have done and the behaviors that they need to have and what they're going to have achieved by the time we meet again in July. I believe that this coaching, this accountability of taking their goals and sharing them in our WhatsApp group with the team and then us reviewing them in July is what makes us the best brokerage in the UK to help advisors build a business, income and lifestyle that they truly love whilst working with us at Active Mortgage. It's been a game changer 2 days. The team absolutely love it. We went and played darts last night. I took them out for dinner. We built relationships. We connected on a deeper level. I even managed to win one of the darts sides, but Ian on my team was a bit of a dark horse and won the other 4. But it was a good, fantastic evening and 2 days to really help them think differently, act differently, behave differently so they can get different outcomes. If you continue to do what you've always done, you're going to continue to get what you've always got. So it's vital if you're part of a business and you have a sales team, you get them together, you regularly mastermind, and you go through these 5 critical areas. Thanks very much indeed for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed this episode. If you want to work with me, either in our brokerage because you're an elite advisor with the right mindset, or you want to stay in your own business, but you want to be coached and growth coached through socials, through automations, through sales, and through building your business and team, either way, to live a lifestyle that you love, then just reach out to me on any social media channel. Thanks for tuning in. See you next week.